Hi, everybody. It's Joe Chaffee on this Saturday evening as we await for the arrival of some very warm air. You see where the warm front is this evening, running through western New York and down into central Pennsylvania. And we know it's there because the winds ahead of it are all from the south coming in from off the ocean, and temperatures are mostly in the low 60s. You've got even some 50s along south-facing shorelines like Long Island and coastal Connecticut into Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. And then, of course, behind the front, you've got all southwest winds and temperatures that are in the upper 70s to even some lower 80s showing up. So this is all the air that's moving into the eastern part of the United States. Also, you can see the radar echoes here that are showing up ahead of that warm front. Not really any kind of large organized area of showers. Most of the showers are light, and they're going north of most coastal areas. So basically into the Hudson Valley and on up through parts of Connecticut and Massachusetts. This little band of showers going through as that very warm air comes in for Sunday. And when we look at the radars, we'll start out in the west where the radars have been busy, and they are pretty quiet today. At least late this afternoon and this evening, radars have been relatively inactive in the western U.S. Thanks to the stormy pattern relaxing for a little bit. And here's the rest of the action going on back through parts of the Dakotas, the northern Great Lakes, and here's that warm front that's moving through the northeastern part of the U.S. And we also have some scattered thunderstorms developing with some moisture coming out of the Gulf into Louisiana, and you can see those right through here. No organized areas of severe weather, although some of these thunderstorms here in Louisiana and in southeastern Arkansas could bubble up into a few severe cells. Here's a satellite for this evening, and there's your warm front. You got your cold front back through here. So this is the warm air that's coming up for Easter Sunday. That's going to send temperatures up into the 80s. And by the way, this is nothing compared to Easter Sunday in 1976, where New York City achieved an all-time high for the month of April of 96 degrees. It was 3 days of 90-plus weather, which is unheard of for April. Again, this was back in 1976, before anybody knew what climate change was. And also, that was the one and only time in recorded history that New York City came in with the highest temperature in the nation, and that includes areas like Arizona, California, the desert areas of California and in Arizona, which usually in the springtime wind up having the warmest temperatures in the country. That was the one and only time where New York City had the hottest temperature in the nation. And out in the west, we've got the next storm. You can see it here coiling away offshore. It'll start moving eastward. There's a little kicker here behind it, a kicker system that's going to push this along into the west coast as we move through Sunday and into next week. Now, when we look at the upper air pattern going forward, really not too much has changed. We've got this ridge in the east at the moment, and here it is right there. Here's that next weather system off the Pacific coast. You've got a trough well out off the east coast. You've got a ridge that's building up toward Greenland. And of course, you guys all know about that endless Pacific jet that doesn't go away. And as we move through time, there really isn't anything that stands out too much in this upper air pattern going forward. I think it does show weather systems once again beginning to progress across and amplify a bit as we move through next weekend and into next week. Looks like we've got a couple of them, one for later this coming week for the east, and then over the weekend and into next week. And you see those troughs rotating around in the east. It's all of a sudden it's one after another after another. So the pattern does look like it is getting a bit more active. So let's look at what we can expect with respect to tomorrow. I'm going to put the temperature map up here for you, and we'll back it up so you can see what Sunday looks like. There we go. So here we are. This is Friday, Saturday. Here's Easter Sunday. Sunday afternoon. Now, this is underdone. These are forecast 2 p.m. temperatures by the GFS model showing upper 70s and low 80s. It's probably off by a good 5 degrees or so, especially from New Jersey south. So I'm thinking you're going to see a large swath of low to mid 80s through areas from Virginia on up into southern New England. And even on the coast for coastal areas, the west wind might get temperatures up close to 80 degrees in some spots, especially western parts of Long Island. Maybe not so much in the east, but certainly for places in the west. So there's your Easter Sunday in terms of temperatures. And we'll go back to the U.S. map and we'll take a look at what we can expect as we go through the week. So now we have a cold front that's going to come through here in the east tomorrow night. There might be a shower or a thunderstorm with that in a few places, but I'm tending to think that they'll be scattered in nature. And you can also look out in the west tomorrow evening. We've got rain coming into California and Oregon again, and then another stronger swath of rain that moves in for Tuesday. Meanwhile, system marches across the country into the east for later Wednesday into Thursday. We have low pressure developing in northwest Kansas that's going to bring some rain and snows to Wyoming and some rain to Nebraska and the Dakotas. But it looks like Colorado's not going to get too much based on latest model runs. There were a number of runs that were trying to make some kind of snowstorm here for later next week. And the models are much weaker with this now. You can see it doesn't do much. Does produce some rain and snow here late this coming week. But the action does shift into the middle Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley. Might be an outbreak of severe weather here late this week and more rain in the eastern states. But no big storms. This is just kind of a situation where everything just sort of progresses along with one system after another after another. Now we're into the latter part of next week. Looks like the weather in the west actually calms down a little bit. Once we get through next weekend, we can go back it up a little bit. After late next week, looks like the weather in the west does calm down considerably, and activity begins to shift a little bit more to the east. So, no major storms on the horizon, just typical mid to late April weather pattern shaping up, and we'll see where it takes us as we go through the coming days. So check out the latest web posts at meteorologistjoechaffee.com. Angry Ben has the New York City weather analysis at nycweathernow.com. And you can download my app and subscribe to my forecasts. It's just $1 a month for New York City, Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Hudson Valley, and eastern Pennsylvania. The links come up along the way on this video, and you can click from there to get access to iTunes and to Google Play. And thank you for being here on my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome, and hit the little red subscribe button on my YouTube channel page so you can become a regular subscriber to my YouTube videos. Doesn't cost you a dime, and you get notified anytime a new video is posted. Everybody have a great Easter. If you're headed out to Easter Vigil services, it doesn't look like you'll have too many problems for tonight in most places, and Easter Sunday is looking pretty good throughout a good chunk of the country, except for those areas that we noted a bit earlier. So everybody enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.